Joanna Jędrzejczyk fights with her legs like a real-life Sakura Kasugano. Fast, ruthless, and impossibly precise.
And again, they can stop this finish it right. It is all over!
She overwhelms opponents with kicks that feel more like controlled explosions than strikes.
Nice right elbow from Bedelia.
But how did her kicks become so strong? How did one weapon turn her into a champion, a pioneer, a storm?
Back her weapons, laser-guided weapons, and that is enough!
Let's dive in. Before the world knew her as Joanna Champion, she was just Joanna from Olsztyn, a girl with too much energy and too few places to put it.
It is all over!
But the moment she walked into a modest martial arts gym at 16, everything shifted. She had no idea she was stepping onto the path that would eventually make her one of the greatest strikers in combat sports history.
Oh, Jessica looks hurt. Joanna's followed up with a ground and pound.
That first Muay Thai session wasn't just a workout, it felt like a calling. Joanna would later explain that she felt at home instantly, as if the sport wasn't something she had found, but something she had always been meant for. And she trained like it.
In round number two, that's a brutal elbow.
That was a killer elbow to the nose.
The early years were unforgiving. Muay Thai in Poland didn't offer money, comfort, or glamour. She didn't fight for a paycheck. She paid to fight. Flights to Thailand cost her more than she earned. She'd step into rings against world-level talent and walk out with bruises, swollen shins, and a bank account in the negative. But never with regret. Her father worried constantly. Seeing his daughter come home limping or bleeding scared him. He felt that fighting wasn't something a girl should be doing. But Joanna wasn't interested in living the life others expected of her. She felt she belonged in this world, no matter how rough it was. In her own words, she loved the grind and the discipline more than anything else. She valued progress over praise. And with time, her dedication began to silence every doubter. Coaches saw the way she drilled fundamentals with ruthless repetition, the way she threw kicks with both precision and malice. She didn't just strike, she broke rhythm. As the years passed, she captured titles, stunned veterans, and became known across Europe as the Polish fighter whose kicks landed like steel.
It is all over! Joanna Jędrzejczyk!
She was no longer just Joanna from Olsztyn. She had become a weapon waiting for a bigger battlefield. And that battlefield was coming. A place louder, brighter, and far more dangerous. The UFC was about to meet a striker unlike anything the division had ever seen.
Jędrzejczyk is the new UFC Women's Strawweight Champion!
When Joanna finally stepped into the world of MMA, she wasn't arriving as a mystery. She was arriving as a warning. European fighters already knew about the Polish girl with the razor-sharp kicks, the endless gas tank, and the attitude of someone who refused to accept limits.
It's going to be last fight, your last fight. You're gonna...
Jessica Pena's backed up. Joanna's pouring the pressure on. Mark Goddard's taking a closer look.
But the UFC, they had no idea what was coming. Her debut wasn't glamorous. She walked in quietly, almost understated, but she fought loudly. Her kicks weren't thrown like tools, they were thrown like statements. And immediately people noticed. Joanna brought something the strawweight division hadn't really seen yet. A pure, high-level striker who refused to take a step backward. She entered the octagon like she had finally found the place she was meant to be. And then came the night everything changed. UFC 185, the title fight against Carla Esparza. Esparza was the division's inaugural champion, a dominant wrestler who had overwhelmed nearly everyone with her grappling. Many expected Joanna to suffer the same fate. Joanna, however, walked in with very different plans. From the opening seconds, her striking took over. Fast hands, hard kicks, a jab that kept snapping Esparza's head back.
Strength advantage here, much bigger.
Every takedown attempt was stuffed. Each time Esparza shot for the legs, Joanna punished her harder, turning those failed attempts into moments of pure exhaustion.
Just took a big deep breath and got tagged.
The crowd could feel it. This wasn't a challenger fighting to survive. This was a challenger dismantling a champion.
And again with the right hand. Oh, she tagged her. And an elbow. And another.
As the rounds progressed, Esparza began to fade, overwhelmed by Joanna's pace.
Giant advantage for her in the stand-up. You're talking about someone who's...
Joanna, on the other hand, only grew sharper, meaner, more precise.
Real mismatch on the feet, and it's starting to get ugly.
Eventually, the referee had seen enough. Joanna wasn't just beating the champion, she was dismantling her. And just like that,
And again, they can stop this fight. Right. It is all over.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk became the first Polish UFC champion, the first European female UFC champion, and the new face of the strawweight division.
This is an amazing performance, the best performance.
Becoming a champion changes a fighter, but Joanna didn't treat the belt as a prize. She treated it as a responsibility to prove she wasn't just better than the last champion. She was better than every woman in the division.
That I gonna do it, and I did it. And when I'm on diet, when I'm preparing, every day, I'm 100%. That's why I'm here.
And Jessica Penny was the first in line to find out what that meant. During the weigh-ins, Penny stood confident, almost defiant. She insisted she was prepared for the war ahead. Joanna made it clear, this fight wouldn't be gentle. It would be violent, and she intended to be the one walking forward when it was over. When the fight began, Penny's strategy came instantly into focus. She tried to smother the champion, rushing into tight clinches, reaching for takedowns.
In the clinch is Joanna.
Well,
Desperately trying to deny Joanna the space she needed to unleash her striking. Penny was determined to turn the fight ugly, but Joanna had evolved past those early wrestling struggles. The moment she planted her feet and fired short uppercuts inside the clinch,
Trying to work a sweep here. Is Joanna going to engage on the floor?
the momentum shifted. Her elbows cut through the air with intent.
Followed up for the ground and pound. Jessica Penny looking to cling on, looking to try and work a sweep.
Every knee drove into Penny's body like a warning that closing distance against a Muay Thai machine isn't safety, it's danger. Then the kicks came. Sharp, punishing, and precise. The kind that makes opponents rethink every step forward. Round one ended with visible damage on Penny's face,
sign yet still down.
It is. It'd be interesting to see what our corner team says to us. Some nuggets.
but round two was where everything unraveled. Joanna stepped in and delivered a perfectly timed elbow straight to the bridge of Penny's nose.
In round number two, that's a brutal elbow.
That was a killer elbow.
Blood burst instantly. Penny staggered back, stunned, her expression collapsing under the weight of the strike. Joanna refused to let her breathe. She surged forward with combinations, leg kicks, and knees up the middle.
Protect yourself,
2:15
Jessica.
or 2:10 left on the clock. That's a lot of time for Jędrzejczyk to work. That's a lot of...
Penny showed tremendous heart, refusing to fall, but her focus had shifted entirely to survival. By round three, the fight had turned into a dismantling. Joanna stalked her with a predator's calm. Teeps hammered Penny's midsection. Relentless kicks battered her legs. Every strike pushed the challenger deeper into crisis. Eventually, the referee stepped in. There was nothing left to prove.
He's a guided weapons, and that is enough. Wow. Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Joanna hadn't just defended her title, she had delivered a masterclass in controlled violence. Her championship reign had truly begun.
Champion.
And next, Joanna would take that sharpened arsenal onto one of the biggest stages. UFC 193 wasn't just another event, it was a historic stadium show in Melbourne, with more than 70,000 fans packed under the open sky. Two women's title fights on the same night. Ronda Rousey in the main event, Joanna in the co-main, ready to show the world that the lighter divisions could deliver just as much violence. During the weigh-ins, Valerie Letourneau was fully aware of the task in front of her. Joanna, on the other hand, radiated something sharper. She told Valerie indirectly that the lucky days were already gone. The next one would belong to her.
You ready?
I'm
Better
fucking
be
ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
I don't think so. It's going to be last fight. Your last fight. You're gonna retire it.
Yeah, I hope you
promise
believe your shit.
I promise you.
Once the fight began, Letourneau surprised people. She came forward, clinched, and even managed an early takedown. For a moment, the stadium felt a flicker of shock.
She has fought at 135 pounds.
But Joanna stood up almost instantly, unfazed. And the tone shifted just seconds later. A front kick, straight up the middle. The strike snapped Valerie's head back.
Valerie Letourneau. Oh! Beautiful front kick to the...
and suddenly the crowd responded as if they'd been waiting for that exact explosion. That kick didn't end the fight, but it changed the momentum completely. From there, Joanna went to work. Her combinations flowed cleaner, and then the leg kicks started landing. Not casually, with intention.
Landing that good kick to the body, there was a nice exchange.
Each one hammered Valerie's lead leg, turning it red, then purple, then unstable. As rounds passed, you could sense Valerie's reactions change. Every time Joanna touched the leg, the challenger's posture shifted. A small limp here, a slow reset there.
Much less effective round from the turnover.
The kind of subtle signs that tell a champion exactly where to press. By round 4, Valerie's leg was compromised. She tried to hide it, but Joanna kept targeting it with cold precision. The stadium noise swelled each time it landed, because everyone could feel the cumulative damage. Valerie's right eye began to swell. Her movement slowed. Joanna never did.
Final seconds of round 4.
5 rounds later, the judges delivered the obvious result. Joanna retained her title.
The undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world.
And set a UFC record for the most leg kicks in a championship fight at that time. She had dominated a challenger on the biggest stage of her career, but next came Claudia Gadelha, the woman who wanted revenge, and the woman who forced her into one of the most intense rivalries in UFC history.
Shut up.
Joanna's rivalry with Claudia Gadelha had been simmering since their first split decision meeting, a fight that many argued could have gone either way. Gadelha believed she won. Joanna believed the opposite, and neither woman had the personality to let that disagreement fade quietly. When the UFC paired them as opposing coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, the tension didn't just rise, it boiled. Training sessions erupted into shouting matches. Claudia accused Joanna of being disrespectful. Joanna fired back with the confidence of a champion who refused to give an inch. Even the simplest exchanges carried an edge. You didn't need subtitles to understand the hostility. You could feel it. By the time fight week arrived, it wasn't just a title bout. It was a score to settle. The rematch opened at a pace that immediately showed how different these two were stylistically. Claudia came out like a storm. Fast, aggressive, determined to erase any doubt. She knocked Joanna down early, drove her into the fence.
They really hate each other. They hold back, but not the case tonight. Let's get down.
And chained takedowns together with relentless pressure. For the first round, Joanna spent more time defending than striking, and you could sense Gadelha gaining confidence.
Butterfly guard here for the champion, now in half guard.
But that pace came with a cost. By round 2, Claudia was still pushing the wrestling, but Joanna had begun to adjust, and suddenly the strikes began to land. Clean jabs, quick kicks, short shots in tight spaces that forced Gadelha to work harder for every takedown. Then the tide turned. Round 3 is where Joanna cracked the fight open.
She's got some heavy legs. It's easy for me to say the key is...
The champion's footwork sharpened. Claudia's breathing changed, her entry slowed, and Joanna started walking her down.
Very deep breaths from the challenger.
You could almost feel the momentum sliding across the octagon floor, from Gadelha's hands to Joanna's legs.
Some good timing on her right hand. She's waiting for the right counter opportunities.
Kicks chopped at Claudia's base. Jabs broke her timing. Combinations forced her backward. And Gadelha's wrestling, the one thing that worked early, began to fade under the weight of exhaustion.
Excellent footwork from the champion. Beautiful hand speed.
By the championship rounds, Joanna was in full command. Her strikes flowed non-stop, and the volume overwhelmed Gadelha completely.
Beautiful combination for the champion while she's backing up.
Joanna had turned the fight into her kind of battle. Fast, precise, and suffocating. When the final horn sounded, there was no debate. Joanna had beaten her rival decisively. And now that the toughest stylistic matchup was behind her, the next challenger waiting wasn't a rival. She was something else. This was the first event in Madison Square Garden with the biggest stage MMA had ever seen. And there she was, ready to defend her belt against someone who understood her better than most. Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Poland had produced two warriors, both technical, both stubborn, both proud. But only one walked in with gold. That alone created a different energy. This wasn't trash talk. This was competitive fire, the kind that comes from two fighters who grew up in the same combat culture and refused to be overshadowed. The stare down said everything.
Chell at that time.
I always like to get in people's faces and stick my head in there, but
Joanna leaned in with the intensity of a champion who'd been here before. Karolina stood her ground, someone who believed she could shock the world. From the opening bell, the tempo belonged to Joanna. Her rhythm was crisp, her jab sharp,
Instructions, just never breaks gaze.
and her leg kicks immediately started mapping Karolina's reactions. You could almost sense Joanna downloading data. She mixed high punches with kicks to the body and legs, making Karolina constantly reset her footing.
And very skillful, and you're seeing that here now, avoiding the punches.
But Karolina wasn't just durable, she was quietly dangerous. Rounds 1 through 3 played out like a championship showcase.
Trying to get a little nasty in the clinch and score some points.
Joanna was in control, landing combinations, firing kicks, using footwork to stay just out of range. Karolina absorbed punishment, but kept moving forward, chipping away when she found openings. Then round 4 happened. Karolina threw a looping right hand, the kind she sets up subtly, almost casually, and it crashed straight into Joanna's face. For a moment, the champion's legs wobbled. The crowd surged to its feet. The entire arena shifted as Joanna backed toward the fence, suddenly in real danger for the first time in her title reign. Karolina surged, trying to turn the moment into an upset. But champions don't fold, they adjust. Joanna steadied herself, recovered, and refused to let the fight slip away.
And she tagged Joanna again.
She came out in round 5 composed, focused, and determined to reclaim control. Her output rose again, and the leg kicks continued to chew at Karolina's base.
Jędrzejczyk is damaged big time.
It certainly is, but man.
The challenger kept swinging, but Joanna closed the show like a champion. Busy, sharp, relentless. When the scorecards were read, Joanna remained the queen of the division, but the fight had shown something new. Her heart under fire. Next came Jessica Andrade, a powerhouse built like a compact wrecking ball, rushing forward with raw strength. And Joanna would meet that strength with the most technical performance of her entire career. Most fighters tried to avoid Andrade's pressure. Joanna didn't avoid anything. She studied it, and she intended to break it down piece by piece. The moment the fight started, Andrade showed exactly why people considered her dangerous. She launched forward with heavy hooks, and one of them slammed clean into Joanna's forehead. Creating a massive hematoma almost instantly. Seconds later, Andrade scooped Joanna into the air and slammed her down with raw strength. For a champion, this is where panic usually sets in. But Joanna didn't panic. She popped back to her feet, reset her stance, and the tone shifted. Every time Andrade blitzed forward, Joanna slid out, angled off, and fired back with precision. When the openings appeared, the kicks returned. Fast, disciplined, punishing. As the rounds progressed, the difference in styles became clearer with every exchange.
Em sequência, esse jogo deixando média distância, agora se movimentar.
Andrade kept charging forward with sheer power. But Joanna was no longer fighting her physically. She was fighting her strategically. Her footwork turned Andrade's aggression into empty swings. Her jab disrupted the timing. And then the leg kicks started carving into Andrade's base. Those kicks weren't just scoring points. They were altering the fight. Slowly, Andrade's stance began to shift. By the third round, Andrade's leg was swollen, tender, and increasingly unstable. Joanna, meanwhile, looked like she was hitting her stride.
Que a Joanna tá começando a entender a luta, gostar e dar passo.
Head kicks sneaked through, angles opened, combinations flowed. If Andrade landed one power shot, Joanna answered with 5 precision strikes.
Quinta defesa de cinturão da polonesa Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Round after round, the champion painted a masterpiece of technical striking. Andrade's toughness kept her standing, but toughness wasn't enough to win the fight. When the final horn sounded, Andrade was battered but still standing, a testament to her grit. But the decision wasn't close. This was Joanna. But even after defending her belt against the division's wrecking ball, Joanna wasn't done proving she was the best. This time she faced a different challenge. Michelle Waterson, a karate specialist with her own reputation for creative kicking. Waterson had enough experience to respect Joanna, but enough belief to think she could outmaneuver her. The fight began with a brief feeling-out phase. Joanna wasted no time establishing range. Her jab snapped out like a metronome, tapping Waterson's head and forcing her to reset.
To keep her away. Of course, when they do close, she has no choice but to throw.
Each time Michelle tried to slide in with her side kick or throw a flashy entry, Joanna interrupted it with something simple, something efficient. As the rounds progressed, Joanna's pace separated the two. Waterson moved well, but Joanna moved constantly, stepping in, stepping out, forcing exchanges, then dictating the reset. That kind of pressure is subtle at first, but slowly it starts to suffocate.
Ooh, that was a good attempt now by Michelle.
Waterson tried to create openings. Joanna forced them. Her leg kicks chipped away at Waterson's stance. There were moments where Waterson landed clean.
Waterson, as she went for the kick there, trying to counter there.
She's too talented not to, but Joanna's consistency made those moments feel small. The champion's kicks had more impact. In the later rounds, Joanna pulled ahead decisively. She kept turning Waterson, kept landing kicks, and kept imposing the tempo of a fighter who'd been living in championship rounds for most of her career. By the end, the decision wasn't in doubt. Joanna didn't just win. She controlled every layer of the fight. For years, Joanna dominated with speed, technique, and a pace no one could match. But eventually, every great fighter meets someone who forces them into the kind of fight you don't forget, and sometimes don't fully recover from. For Joanna, that someone was Zhang Weili. When their first fight was announced, fans expected a war, but nobody expected that war. From the opening bell at UFC 248, you could feel a different kind of electricity.
Le van a la campeona, cada uno.
Yo veo la campeona porque es más completa y mi parecer aquí me parece que es...
Zhang brought raw power, explosive combinations, and the kind of aggression that didn't allow Joanna to settle. Joanna, in return, brought championship pace, surgical striking,
Saltos. No es el cinturón.
Oh, y ahí está lo que decía, la metralla.
and that signature refusal to give ground. The result wasn't just competitive, it was chaos in motion. Every exchange felt like two worlds colliding.
Joanna está peleando muy bien, muy inteligente. Mira qué bueno. 1-2 y sí le alcanzó.
And then, the damage began to show. Joanna's forehead swelled into a massive hematoma, one of the most shocking injuries ever seen in a title fight. The crowd reacted with a mix of awe and disbelief. But here's the thing, Joanna never backed down. That's what made the fight legendary. Round after round, she stayed in the pocket, landing volume, landing kicks, landing everything she could throw. Zhang responded with equal ferocity. By the final horn, both fighters looked like they had survived a car crash. And though Joanna lost by split decision, she walked away with something even heavier than the result. The fight was immediately called one of the greatest in women's MMA history. But wars like that have a cost. And Joanna paid that cost by closing the chapter on her fighting career. When she placed her gloves on the canvas afterward, the arena shifted in emotion. She spoke about family, about wanting to be healthy, about chasing life beyond the octagon. She had given everything, and the world knew it. Joanna didn't leave MMA quietly. She left as a Hall of Famer, a pioneer, a champion who changed the sport. and she left with her legacy carved into history through precision, violence, and heart. But a legacy isn't just built from belts or records. Joanna's story extends far beyond the cage, into culture, influence, reinvention, and the kind of impact only true champions leave behind. When Joanna Jędrzejczyk walked away from MMA, she didn't walk away from purpose. She walked away from damage, from the grind, from the weight of 20 years inside rings and cages. But her influence, that stayed right where it always belonged, everywhere. She broke barriers for European athletes. She became the first Polish UFC champion, the first European female champion, the face of a division that desperately needed an identity. And the identity she gave it wasn't small. It was violent, technical, relentless. Her kicks weren't just strikes. They became signatures. For an entire generation of fighters, Joanna became a blueprint. You don't need size. You need footwork, precision, discipline, and a level of self-belief that doesn't crack under pressure. Outside the cage, her life expanded instead of shrinking. She dove into business, philanthropy, media, acting, and even motorsport. She built companies, took Harvard business courses, became a mentor to young fighters, and continued representing her culture with pride and confidence. Where other fighters retire into silence, Joanna retired into growth. And the truth is, her influence extends far beyond highlight reels. Even now, when she looks back, she admits retirement still stings sometimes. She misses the grind, the walkout, the feeling of being exactly where she belongs. But she also knows why she left. Because health is priceless, and because she gave everything she had. Joanna didn't retire with regret. She retired with completion. She leaves behind a legacy shaped by precision, by heart, and yes, by kicks that change the sport. Not everyone becomes a champion, even fewer become pioneers, but almost no one becomes a symbol. Joanna Jędrzejczyk did, and long after the gloves were placed on the canvas, her story still kicks just as hard. If you enjoyed it, subscribe for more stories, share the video with others, and let us know what fighter you want covered next.